episode. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Career Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Bola Halabi, and we have a very special guest with us today. We have BYRON. BYRON is the CFO, and he's here with us here today, and we are going to be discussing everything finance. And if you are curious about crypto, I'm going to be asking BYRON some questions on crypto as well. So, BYRON, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm excited.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, I appreciate you joining us today. And I know our community, they are going to benefit from this discussion. So, BYRON, can you please introduce yourself to my listeners so that they'll know what you do and why you are here today?
Yeah, of course. So I'm a CPA by letter designation. So I've passed that. I'm officially a CPA. I do CFO work. So the space that we're in is fractional CFO services. And so what that means is I advise individuals, high net worth individuals, or companies or conglomerates of companies, and how they need to structure their company, the tax advantages that they have. So we get into the tax planning, we look at the tax credits that are available, and then we look at how they function their business. Because in this space, the people that are running a business, they're the expert in their industry and how they run their business, but they may not be the expert in how they do their accounting or how they run their funding or their finance or anything in the numbers. And so when they bring us in, we take that place. We're the expert in those numbers. So the expert in what they need for funding. We're the expert in their accounting systems. So essentially, we break it down into three main things: the revenue, the profit, and the cash flow. And we're going to manage those things. We're going to look at those three aspects of the business and of them as an individual, so that we're making sure that we're applying the tax credits appropriately, applying the tax code as it relates to them in the most advantageous way to minimize their tax burden, but also to maximize that profitability, maximize the revenue that they have coming in. So that's what we do. I'm also crypto tax certified. That's more of a passion than a job, but I love crypto. I think it's definitely something that's going to be, front of mind. I think it's going to be a big piece of how we interact in the future, as far as like monetary systems. So I keep abreast of that, and I make sure that I know as much about that as I possibly can. If anybody tells you they're an expert in the crypto space, that is a broad assertion, because crypto has not been around that long. So I would say there's not a whole lot of experts necessarily in it, but there's definitely people that are more informed than others.
Absolutely. I also think that crypto or these digital currencies will be a thing of the future. And the more we can learn about them, the better it is going to be for us, so that we can effectively position ourselves for that future. Now, you mentioned that you help high net worth individuals, right? And when we talk about net worth, I like clarity. Are you talking about someone with maybe a minimum of $1 million, or you are looking for maybe higher figure? Can you break that down for us?
Sure. So most of our clients are at least at that 1 million range. That's when it really starts to make sense as far as like tax planning, a lot of the tax credits. So our majority of the companies work with are in that, say as low as say 3 million up to 50 million roughly. So most of them fall in that 3 to probably 45 million range. The SBA in the US says that, small business is 43 million and under, which is a big number. And so people say, oh my God, if I had 40 something million, I don't think I would consider myself small. But, for legal purposes, that is what's considered a small business. And that's where we focus our attention, is in those small businesses and the people that are running those small businesses. Or if they're big, heavy crypto traders or, heavy traders in general, They may not have a business in the sense of what we're used to seeing, like a bricks and mortar or say like an online business, but they're trading, they're in the business of trading. And so when we're talking about high income individuals, that's really what we're talking about, as those people they make their living off of trading or coaching, advising, things of that nature. That's really what we mean when we talk about those high income earners, or high net worth individuals.
Okay, that's good. So I see that we have someone else joined us. Chrissy, is that person working
Yeah.
with you, or?
Yes, yeah. So Chrissy, the Otter AI, it's artificial intelligence. What it does is it pulls the notes, pulls all the dialogue, it runs a summary for me, it points out, things that maybe, if there's
No, no,
word
Tika.
cues that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
miss.
I
Yeah,
thought it was someone else that joined the
No,
call.
no, no. Yeah, no.
Basically,
It's
we
good to
have.
have. You can minimize it or kick it out, whatever you want to
No,
do.
it's
But,
cool. It's cool. It's
yeah,
gonna be helpful, taking notes,
yeah,
getting summary of this conversation. So that's good.
yeah.
So, how do you help this high net worth individual? I want to have an idea of your process. Do they just come to you and say, "Hey, Byron, this is my business. How do I?" You spoke about revenue, cash flow, profitability, which I think we'll touch on, but I want to understand your process of getting involved with the people that you help.
Yeah, of course. In almost all of ours is word of mouth. There are people that we've worked with in the past that have said, "Hey, I got this buddy. I think would really benefit from what you offer." Some of our networking events, things of that nature. So we don't advertise per se. It's really all kind of word of mouth or through the networking piece. But our process, we talk to them, and I have multiples of these conversations, throughout the week, but we set them up for a call. We get on. Hey, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me a little bit about what's going on in your life, going on in your business, things of that nature. And so that helps me to assess where I can help them. And so I would say, maybe 50-50. I can help them in a manner that's going to have a significant impact that it makes sense to bring us on. For the other 50%, they're not quite there. So I can outline them some steps that they need to take to kind of get to that level where it would make sense. Because I'm a big fan of, if I can't at least 3x the money that you're putting up, the investment in your business, then realistically, I can give you some things to help you get to that point where it would make sense for that investment in your business. And so for a lot of those conversations, it's finding out where they're at, in life, in their business, whatever they're doing, and finding out if I can help. And a lot of times that's me pointing out a number of things like, hey, you should probably apply for this, tax credit. You need to structure this way instead of this way. You may want to pursue this as, an additional revenue stream. You may want to look at these expenses, as they apply to your industry. Yours are high, yours are low. You can have a better return there. And so I help them to find kind of those easy wins that they can move forward and hopefully grow to a point where it makes sense to have that kind of high level CFO involvement. The ones that do, it would make sense, I can 3x or better that investment in their business. Then we're going to pull all of their information in. We have a proprietary system that we use that collects all that data, puts it where it needs to go. So when I work with a client, there's a scoreboard, we call it a scoreboard, that shows up, when we go over this, once a week or once a month, depending on the level of the client, their needs. And the scoreboard is 3 colors. It's green, it's yellow, it's red. And the beauty of this is if you're in the green, we're good. We know that area of your business is good. Accounting wise, it's fine. Finance wise, you're in good shape. If it's yellow, hey, we need a little bit of work here. Let's see what we can do to make this a little bit better, right? And then if it's red, we need immediate action. And so based off of that scoreboard, we have a nice little screenshot of where their business is, or where they're at as an individual in whatever they're investing in, whatever they're doing. And then that helps us to focus in the areas that need work. And so we break those down to an action plan where we look at, okay, this is where we're at. This is where we want to be. These are the action steps that we need to take to get there. And then who's responsible for those action steps and what's the process to make this happen. And so they get a step-by-step plan to solving the problem or improving, where we're sitting at.
So in partnering with people or businesses, what are some common issues that maybe you can touch on in terms of how people are doing their businesses and how you will come in to help them optimize and position them for, profits?
Yeah. So the first one, the major one, and I don't see this all the time, but it's pretty regular. It's ego. So they focus so much on revenue that they don't pay attention to the profit and they don't pay attention to the cash flow. They just want to grow so fast, and they use it. And I say ego because honestly, it's the thing that makes sense, right? If you grow so fast that you ignore profit, the money that you actually get to keep, you ignore the cash flow in the business, which is the lifeblood of your business, the lifeblood of what you do. If you're trying to grow so fast, there's really only one reasonable reason you would want to do that. And that's, I want to be the biggest company I can possibly be so I can tell all my friends and all my non-friends how amazing I am, and how great I've done, right?
Yeah.
And the reality is the revenue, it's a big piece of it. It's the money that comes in, but I'm way more focused on the profitability. To me, what's important is what you get to keep. We can make a ton of money, but if we don't get to keep any of it, that's not fun. That's just a lot of work for no reason.
Right.
So that's probably the biggest thing I see is that kind of ego and understanding that profitability is really more important than revenue. You have to have the revenue, but what you get to keep is way more important. The other thing that I see is people just not managing their cash flow. And so I talk to multiple clients, generally in the first step where they say, hey, I'm making tons of money or crazy profitable, but every 2 weeks when payroll comes due, like I'm struggling to hit payroll. Well, if you're doing great and you're profitable, but you're struggling to meet your cash obligations, such as payroll, big one, right? Then you got a cash flow problem. Like, you're making good money. I get that. Your tax return comes in, it says you made a ton of money, but generally there's the same people that say, hey, a tax man said I made all this money over here, but like my bank account says that that's not real. So, that's a cash flow issue, and so managing the cash flow, understanding how that works, knowing the ins and outs, the ebbs and flows that exist within your business, that's a big piece of what we do, and we help them to understand it. And you don't have to be an expert on cash flow, but it's very important that you understand how it works so that when we're helping to guide you in this cash flow, and leveling things out so that you have more of a smooth transition in a business, like you do need to have at least a medium level of understanding of that. Now we're going to manage it for you. We're going to help you get there. We're going to point out the factors that really play into that. But for us, it's not so much as handling it as it is educating our clients, those individuals, those businesses, on how these things work so that they can really understand the framework of how that business exists. Because as you grow, these things become more and more important, and what worked to get you to one stage isn't going to work to get you to the next stage. But if you don't understand your framework, you're never going to make it through even the first stage. You really need to have an understanding of all aspects of the business.
So why is cash flow so crucial for a business? I know you mentioned it in terms of maybe paying employees' salaries, managing operating costs and all those other things. But I want you to break it down for us. Why do you think cash flow is crucial for the survival of a business?
To me, it breaks down to opportunity. If you can't hit payroll, then you're not going to have the best employees. You miss a payroll, you're going to find out really quick. That doesn't work, right? And so the good employees that you had, the people that you may treat like family and you may see them as family in your business, if they're not getting paid, they're not going to stick around long. So knowing that that's there. And then the biggest opportunity is like being able to take advantage of those opportunities, right? So if something comes across your plate and you know, hey, I can do this amazingly. I can absolutely crush this thing. This fits right in with my business, but it involves a capital contribution. It involves you to put money behind it. If you don't have good cash flow, you don't have that money set aside to do that, then you're not going to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. And growth is all about taking advantage of opportunities. And one of the biggest ways to increase the profitability, increase the size of a business, is to find like parallel revenue streams. So if you're doing this and you can do this other thing that's very similar, it's going to have some of the same fixed costs. You know, your variable costs, those are what's going to play into it. But if it costs you, let's say it costs you $500,000 in the year just to be open, that's your rent, that's your base payroll, that's your utilities, that's your equipment, whatever it is. So if you only have one revenue stream that's trying to cover all of that 500,000 that's a fixed, plus the variable expenses, that's a lot of weight on one revenue stream. Now, if you have two or say 3 or 4 or 5 revenue streams, and all of those are contributing to that 500,000 fixed, that cost never goes up, never goes down based off of new revenue streams. Well, now all of those lines became more and more profitable, right? Mm-hmm. But if you don't have the cash flow behind it to be able to invest in those, to invest in new lines, to invest in innovation, if you can't invest money to make your process better or to make your customer experience better, then that's a cash flow issue. If you can make your client, your customer's life, like their interaction better, that's money well spent, right? But if you're so worried about your cash flow and you don't know where it's coming from, you can't make those investments, right? And the next company that pays attention to that and has the money to do that, you may find yourself at a disadvantage to that competitor. Even if you're first to market, if that other company has the money to invest there, they're very quickly going to start to take away some of your client base because the experience is better.
That's so good, Byron. Now, you said you want businesses to work smarter, not harder. Yeah. You want them to focus on what's truly important to their businesses so that they can increase profitability. How can companies do this, or business leaders? How can they devise a means of working smarter and not just harder so that they can improve profitability?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a story, and then we'll get into it. So we had a client, we still work with him, amazing guy. One of our first conversations, he said this numerous times, and so I've broken him of this thought process, but it's interesting. And so I would say, we were talking about it. And he would say, yeah, we do this. And I'm like, cool. Who handles that for you? Well, nobody can really handle that. I do the best at that, so I handle it. Okay, I get that. And then we were talking, well, we do this. Oh man, that's awesome. Who handles that for you? Well, I do that too. I've hired a few people and they just can't do it as well as I do. So I do it. I'm like, okay, all right. I hear you. So then another thing came up, and he's like, oh man, I had this one guy and he was pretty good, but really I'm way better at it than anybody else.
Sure, he
and
does
so,
everything.
yeah. So I said, okay, and I'm not going to say the guy's name, but I said, here's the reality. I said, you're the bottleneck. He's like, what do you mean? I said, you're in the way of your business growing. You, not your employees, not your vendors, not the industry, not your clients. You're the problem. You will not let the people that are around you, that believe in you, that believe in the company, that believe in the vision, believe in your core values, you're not letting them step in and do these things. You think you're better at everything in the company, and you might be. You 100% might be. But if you can find somebody that does it 75% as well as you do, you've just freed up a whole lot of time. Yeah. And so find 2 people that can do it 75% as well as you can and bring them in. And now it's 150% of what you were able to do, but you've put the right people in the right seats, and that's super important. People say this all the time. I can't find good people. I can't find the right person, things of that nature. Right. And I get it. Hiring is difficult. It's not an easy thing. I admit that it's tough, but you've got to find the right people. You find the right people. Those are the people that believe in your core values. They align with your vision. They believe in the company, they believe in the clients, they want to be in this industry. So that's the right people. But the second piece of that is putting them in the right seat. If you have somebody that really, really cares about your clients and does an amazing job talking to your clients, that customer service aspect is there. People love dealing with this person. Would you put them in a back office somewhere where they never have any impact on the clients? Would you put them in accounting where they're in a basement, just typing out numbers? No. You want them in front of clients, right?
Right.
And so you got to put the right people in the right place. That's vital. And so if you can do that, you're going to multiply your effect. And that's one of the toughest things for small businesses to realize. They think, I've got to do it because I know how to do it right. I can do it best. So I'm just going to have to do it. I'm just going to grind. I'm just going to work more time. I'm going to work more hours. And then when I'm worth $100 million, then I'll rest, and you'll never get there. You'll never get there.
Yeah.
You've got to have the right people in the right place, so you've got to start stepping aside and letting people, honestly, you got to let them make mistakes, because the easiest way to learn is to make those mistakes. So you have to stop doing and you have to start teaching and coaching. And that's tough. That's tough for business owners, but that's your new job. Your new job is teaching and coaching. As this company grows, that's going to be the best place for you to be. So while you're focusing on putting the right people in the right place, you also need to admit you're probably the right person, but you're not in the right place. You're not in the right seat. So get yourself in the right seat, get to coaching, get to teaching, be the person that they go to with their issues and help them to get better. Because if you have an army of 10 people that believe in your vision, believe in your core values, and they know they can come to you for advice, coaching, whatever they need to make sure that they're doing their job correctly, you just 10x your business just with the people. It's simple math.
That's so good, Byron. I completely agree with you. I think putting the right people in the right spots will help organization, to grow and thrive. And I like what you mentioned about coaching, about training. I think we underplay the importance of, coaching in businesses, because it's true. Maybe you are hiring someone today. At least if this person, if they have some experience, some background in what you are bringing them to, and if they, with the right mindset and attitude, they can quickly learn, and with time they may even be better than you, and the business owner will have the opportunity to go focus on something more important that will help the business to grow. And that's what you are trying to tell us right there. So thank you for putting it out there. So Byron, I know we this is a podcast. We are also recording a video. I can see your passion, and I know people that will be watching this later, they'll feel the same passion. Why is it important to you for businesses to be profitable? Why are you so passionate in supporting businesses to make sure that they continue not only to generate higher revenue and cash flow? Why do you want them to be profitable as well?
So profit is what you get to take home. And I believe that if you take home a significant amount of money, it's going to do one of two things. You may be of the type, I just want to make as much money and I want to have as much fun and buy as many toys or whatever, right? And a lot of people assume that people make a bunch of money, that's the route they go. In my opinion and in my experience, it's been the opposite. So when I find that people are making really good money, they found efficiencies in their business, they're highly profitable, they tend to focus on things that aren't necessarily monetarily related, right? But they're things that they're passionate about. And so I feel like you can give the government money, you can pay this organization to do something you care about. They're never going to have the same fire and passion as you getting involved. And so as your business becomes more and more profitable and you can kind of start to step out of it, you've got the right people in the right places and you're not pulling 80-hour weeks. Maybe now you're at 40 or 30. Now you can spend some of that time and that money on the passion projects that you have. Maybe you have a maybe you have a heart for helping the homeless, or maybe you have a heart for helping, unwed mothers, or maybe you have a heart for helping handicapped people. Whatever your passion is, whatever your history is, whatever you get to, you can do so much more when you're actively involved and you have the monetary means to do these things. I'm not saying just go out and just throw money, not Santa Claus or anything like that. But when you can get involved in people's life and they need something, and that you can afford to do that for them, like the impact to you, I promise you, it's going to be better than any business you've ever run. If you can get into this mentality and you can get out there and you can get actively involved, not only with your time, but with your money, and you start to see like the outcome of that, you start to see the results of your involvement in whatever it is that you're passionate about, it becomes incredibly fulfilling. My wife and I were small group coaches for our church, and it was a hard transition because we thought it was really, really great that we were coaching or that we were working with people, leading these small groups, helping them to like work their way through problems and find a better understanding of their life. And we were asked to take on the coaching aspect. And I said, man, I just don't know that I'm going to have the same effect because I'm just coaching people to do what we're already doing. I'm not really working with the people. Right. So I was resistant, the same as I've heard clients be resistant. I was very resistant. But then we started working with these people, and we started hearing these stories. Oh man, I'm coaching this group and we went through this, and these people that were in the group, they're going through this struggle, and I was able to connect this couple with this couple. And so they're this support system for each other. And so our impact was maybe I think our biggest small group was like 24 people. Right. And so we're impacting 24. That's fantastic.
That's good.
But then, yeah, that's great. So then we started coaching, and now we're coaching all these coaches that also have 16 to 24 people. So our impact became so much greater because we were helping people to understand the process and helping them to work through that process so that they could help the people that were in their small groups work through that process. So to me, if you can find that profitability, you can find that separation from your business that allows you to take on these passion projects, you're going to find insane fulfillment in that. And I don't want to beat up on the people that say, hey, I want to make a bunch of money because I want to drive a Lambo and I have a nice car and blah, blah, blah. Nothing wrong with it, right? Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. I will tell you, the first exotic car you buy is going to be an amazing experience and you will enjoy driving it, right? I believe that 1,000%. It will not be the joy that you have in feeding into other people's lives and feeding into your passion project, helping people to become better people, helping them to find solutions in their life. Like, to me, and I've experienced it, so I'm going purely off of my own experience. Yeah. But that Lambo doesn't come close to touching the feeling you get from helping other people. And so that's why I'm so passionate about finding that profitability, finding like the best way to do a business, because I know it's going to give people the financial freedom, and the time freedom to pursue those passion projects that are really going to be where they're going to find the most happiness in their life.
Oh, that's so good, Byron. I like you mentioning financial freedom, because I know many people are out there working day and night, working 80 hours a week, and they are looking for this financial freedom. So thank you for sharing that with us. So, and as we are wrapping up, Byron, how can my audience, how can they find you? How can they connect with you so that they can learn more about what you do?
Yeah, of course. So it's CFOAF. And so you can go to our website, www.cfoaf.com. So you can find us there. We're on the social medias. The CFOAF is my personal. Then, of course, the business CFOAF is on there as well. We created a PDF, and it's called The What If Plan. So thewhatifplan.com. We're not selling you anything on there. You go to the website and it's a downloadable PDF. We're not looking to sell you anything. It's not a funnel. Like, I know those are frustrating. It's not that. So we created this, and it's an outline of how you get into business, how you create good operating agreements, how you create good partnerships with people that you want to be in business with, and then how that structure works throughout the process. And so the reason we created that is because we had so many people saying, "Hey, I'm doing this, but I really want to be in business. I don't even know how to get started." That's what this is for. It's called thewhatifplan.com. It's www.thewhatifplan.com. It's available. You can go directly there. You can download it. It's very simple, but it walks you through that process. It's a great starter. It answers a lot of the big questions that people have. And then if you have additional questions, hit me up on the website. Hit me up on social media. Say, "Hey, man, can I steal 20 minutes?" Happy to do it. I love to do it. I love hearing what people are doing. So it's semi-selfish, because I get to hear what you're doing, which is a joy to me, right?
Yeah.
Like I love hearing the stories. But hopefully I can give some of that back to you and help people, help the listeners with maybe it's one small problem, maybe it's a big problem, maybe it's a few problems. But hopefully I can help. But I'm always happy to hop on a quick 20-minute call, just kind of hear where you're at, talk it out. And man, I've been there, done that on a lot of things. The older I get, the more I realize I don't know anything. But I've got I've got a little bit of knowledge that hopefully is helpful to somebody out there.
Thewotifplan.com. So I'm going to check that out because I think this will be useful to my audience. Many people, they want to start a business, but they need that guide. So I will check that out, and I'm going to leave these on my show notes so that people can also check it out and be a part of what you are doing. Now, finally, Byron, do you have like a minute or so to share one final message with my audience about maybe something that we have not touched on or something else that you would like them to know?
Yeah, I would just say, guys, you're going to make mistakes in life. That's just a reality. Don't let those eat you up. I've made mistakes in my life. I'm at a point, I'm old, I'm 45, like hopefully I've made, all the mistakes. Probably not. They're probably going to continue to happen, but this is a process. So like, if you make a mistake, you make a bad decision, something happens, like it's going to happen. It's not if, it's when. So just pick yourself back up and like get back out there, go back at it again. You're going to have businesses that fail. Like I have businesses that failed, and I learned way more from the businesses that failed than the ones that were super successful that I sold for good returns. Like even in some of those wins, I can find things that I did wrong that helped me to be better in the future. So like, don't beat yourself up over it. Everybody makes it. You're not going to see it on social media. Not too many people go on there and they're like, "Oh man, I really messed up. And,
Right.
I did all this bad stuff." They post the good stuff, like, and that's
right.
good. Like, I want to help. I want to celebrate wins with everybody, but like also celebrate like the mistakes, celebrate, what you learn from those mistakes, because those are the pieces that are going to make you so much better in your next step. So like, don't give up. Like keep at it, like that's the most important thing. If I gave up with the first business, guys, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. It wouldn't happen. Right. And I may fail again. I hope I do, because I learned so much from these failures that like the next thing is always so much bigger than whatever the mistake was. So like, don't beat yourself up, pick yourself back up, contact the people that are positive in your circle, surround yourself with good, encouraging people, reach out to them. "Hey guys, I made a mistake." And if they're good, encouraging people, they're going to go, "Oh man, that sucks. What are you going to do next? Like, what's the next step? How are you going to learn from it?" Right. And that, to me, that's exactly what the response should always be to any mistake. So again, don't stress those, build on them, do something amazing. Like get out there and like do life. Like life is a blessing, and it's an amazing, amazing experience. So like take all the positives you can from it and run with those, and all the things that go wrong, all the negatives, all the things that like really weigh you down, like those are there to learn on, right? So use those as steps. Those are just steps to get to the next level. So hopefully that helps somebody.
Wow, that's so good, Byron. I like it because many people don't talk about mistakes, and most people, they are holding back because of the fear of making mistakes. I like the way you shared it. Thank you very much for coming on the show. We appreciate your time. This is good. Thank you.
Thanks, well, I appreciate it. That was great, and hopefully hopefully the listeners enjoyed it and they got at least one or two tidbits of gold out of there. So,
All right.